the new life. In that book, which is my memory, on the first page of the chapter that is the day when I first met you, appear the words, "Here begins a new life." Dante Alighieri, Vita Nuova. How do we seem to you? Do you find us beautiful and magical? Our white skin, our fierce eyes? Drink, you ask me. Do you have any idea of the things you will become? Anne Rice, interview with the vampire. So you've been sired. What now? You have started the biggest adventure of your life. Or should we say of your death? Or undeath. Things are never going to be the same again. You need a roadmap for your new existence. Forget all the old stuff. That's all gone now. It's time to face the future. You no longer need to worry about the fate of the ordinary human. All they have to look forward to is death. For you, provided you don't run into any pesky vampire slayers. How we hate those sanctimonious bastards, the infinitely pious and pompous, who gave them the right to block the evolution of humanity into a vampire species. You have all the time in the world ahead of you. How are you going to fill all this time? Time without end. Will you learn every skill and become an expert in everything? Like Phil Connors in Groundhog Day, will you make yourself a god? Vampires are a bit like Connors. No matter what they do, they can never die as long as they avoid all the ritual ways of killing vampires. Undeath is a kind of super life. Are you ready for this greatest, supercharged adventure? You've been plucked out from the crowd. You are no longer one of the bystanders, the onlookers, the extras. Now you're a star of the show. The limelight is on you. You have superpowers. You have transcended death. Deep down, isn't that what you always wanted? You have been selected. You have been chosen. You are one of the elect. The vampire life is not for hoi polloi. You need to have class, style, panache. You have a mighty reputation to uphold. We vampires are very choosy. We demand swagger. You need to have a devil-may-care attitude. You need to be one of the arrogant ones. You are now one of the anti-heroes, which for us are the real heroes. We loathe all the Christian, sermonizing heroes with all their hypocrisy and claptrap. They just keep selling that same old snake oil. The second coming? Come on, how long are all you suckers willing to wait? You have been given a promissory note that will never be cashed. No one is coming back to save you. Nothing can stop the vampire apocalypse. In your previous life, you were one of the prey. Now you are free of all that. You are no longer one of the weak, born to be a victim. You have joined the predators. In fact, you are an apex predator. The world must do your bidding. You will relish your newfound power. It's the most intoxicating drug of all. You used to be along for the ride. Now you're the driver and you can go anywhere you like. All doors are open to you. Vampires have access all areas passes. Who's going to stop you? Mere mortals? You can sweep all of them aside with one swish of your cape. One penetrating stare of your mesmeric eyes. What will you do with all your power? We shall help you to become what you truly are. An immortal. You are one of the legendary ones now. You need to learn the rules of the club. You belong to the most powerful fraternity on Earth. You have joined the brotherhood and sisterhood of the Dark Gift. Your newfound vampire life. You've been vampirized. There's no way back. Now you must make the most of it. There's no point in moping around. In any case, you now have the soul of a demon. So being a vampire will come naturally to you. Like a student going to university for the first time, you need a fresher's week of orientation, and then you'll be fine. It's a privilege to be a vampire. You're one of the special ones, the chosen ones. You're nothing like the run-of-the-mill masses with all their dreary jobs and dull lives. Jack Kerouac said, "The only people for me are the mad ones. The ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time. The ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but burn, burn, burn like fabulous yellow Roman candles exploding like spiders across the stars, and in the middle, you see the blue center light pop and everybody goes, oh! Vampires are these people, cut above. Vampires have more bite, more penetration, more sucking power. The change. So this is a confusing time for you. You have been newly sired and you're both excited and daunted. Your life, or unlife as we should now say, has gone through the most dramatic change. Things will never be the same again. Incredible opportunities are available to you, but a few things have permanently fallen by the wayside, such as sunbathing or having garlic with your meal. This is your handbook to orient you to your undeath. Your transition will take a lot of getting used to. You'll be meeting entirely different people. You'll be mixing in new circles. You'll be leaving behind familiar family and friends. You'll be expanding your horizons. Are you ready for this? You almost certainly weren't expecting to become a vampire, so you probably don't know much about the subject, bar what you have picked up from movies and stuff. As all vampires know, life sucks. In a good way and a bad way, of course. After all, there's nothing like sucking on an inviting neck And it sucks to be hunted by those weird Slayer folks who are obviously suffering from obsessive-compulsive disorder. Get over it already. Life, or undeath, is always confusing for a new vampire. Now that it has really happened to you, you will want to know how the whole thing actually works. But first things first, let's get you up to speed with some basic vampire rules. Invitations. You've no doubt heard that vampires cannot enter a house unless invited in by the owner. After the first invitation, they can then come and go as they please. Once invited, always invited. If lacking an invite, a vampire just stands there, impotently, as if blocked by a force field. So, what's this all about? How will it affect you? Vampires are in fact stopped by any man-made threshold. The idea is that evil cannot come and go as it pleases. By default, all places are holy and godly. There are no-go zones for the wicked. When someone invites a vampire to cross a threshold, it's regarded as a positive commitment on their part to embrace evil, to let it in. Once evil has been permitted once, it has the right to re-enter at any time. In the tale of Dr. Faust, the alchemist who sold his soul to the devil explicitly says that Faust must say, "Come in 3 times before the devil can then enter." There must be no doubt that someone has committed to bringing evil into their home. Even when the devil is in the form of a black dog, he must be invited in. Them's the rules. They are like scientific laws of nature. Or are they? We shall see. Distraction tactics. It's said that potential victims can escape vampires by scattering objects such as seeds or grains, which the vampires are then compelled to count. Utter nonsense. Vampires aren't retarded. They're not staggeringly easily distracted. No one will escape you by giving you things to count. We're hunters, not calculating machines. Holy Joes. Holy Joes think they can stop you with garlic, Bibles, crucifixes, rosaries, and so on. It's ludicrous. All of these silly customs concern the power of suggestion. The victim has a belief in the protection of these things, and the vampire has been told they work. Therefore they do. Think of hypnotism. A hypnotist can place a very strong suggestion in a subject's mind, and the subject then acts on it as if it were real, but it's not. Suggestion is a form of hypnosis. If both the victim and a vampire agree with the same suggestion, then it works. To free yourself, all you need to do is break the suggestion. You can't be stopped. You can eat as much garlic as you like. Hold a Bible, look at a crucifix, wear rosary beads. None of it will harm you in any way once you have overcome your psychological block. Home comforts. According to vampire law, vampires are unable to leave their home area. To get round this prohibition, just carry some home soil around with you. Some vampires line their coffins with homeland soil. That's taking things a bit far. Holy water. You've seen vampire skin being corroded by holy water. Again, this is all due to the power of suggestion. A hypnotist can put a coin in someone's hand and tell them it's extremely hot. The subject will then get skin burns. Their flesh really will blister. It's all in the mind. The mind can negatively affect matter. It's called the nocebo effect. If you expect something to cause you harm, it will, even if it's actually harmless. So, a cold coin becomes harmful if you believe it's actually a very hot coin. Don't let your victims fool you. Don't believe in old customs and rituals. Forget all the folklore and superstitions. Don't let old traditions ward you off. You are a vampire. You have superpowers. Use them to the maximum. Make the world quail when it's in your presence. The power of Christ will never compel thee. You will compel Christ! Running water. According to folklore, running water is a barrier to vampires. It supposedly prevents the crossing of any unholy beings. Running water is thought to be much cleaner and less likely to harbor diseases than stagnant water. Vampires, so the idea goes, are repelled by pure water and can only bear foul water, which they consider unholy. They love wretched, polluted, disease-ridden water. They hang out in swamps and mires. All nonsense, of course. Don't let the sheep con the wolves. That's an inversion of the natural order. According to some people, rivers and streams were natural boundary markers for local regions and served as thresholds. Hence, vampires could not cross. Remember, it's all just folklore. Nothing can stop you. You are the most powerful of the powerful. Nothing can stand in your way. They must step aside, not you. Never you. Swimming. There's a myth that vampires can't swim. In fact, vampires are excellent, fearless swimmers. They can't drown. Just don't swim in holy water. Actually, holy water is just ordinary water with Christian faith, imagination, and priestly mumbo-jumbo added. It can't harm anyone or cure anyone for that matter. The morning light. Will the morning light burn you up? Well, does darkness make humans freeze? It's not that vampires can't go out in the light. Rather, vampires are naturally attuned to the dark, to nightlife. They do all their sleeping and dreaming during the day. Push it. Oh, my brothers, am I perhaps cruel? But I say, if something is falling, one should also give it a push. Friedrich Nietzsche. It would be cruel not to push it over. It deserves to be pushed. Only then can we have a new world, a better world, a world fit for vampires, as Shakespeare almost said. What piece of work is a vampire? How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable in action, how like an angel in apprehension, how like a god, how beauteous vampire kind is. A brave new world that has such people ain't. Indeed, we are the new gods. Vampires shall inherit the earth. We are the coming race. We shall transform this world. We are the New World Order, the Vampire Order.